Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is episode number 6 of my R34 GTT to GTR Conversion project. In the last episode we replaced both the quarter panels. In this episode we can extend the wheel arches and also fully weld the panels on the body. So let's begin the episode without any further ado. So we need a same thickness material to fill this gap. I already have that section ready in the last episode. You can either MIG weld it or TIG. I decided to go for a TIG because I never done a TIG welding in my life. And that's why I love these projects. I get to experience and learn new things from it. So I bought a brand new TIG machine. Let's unbox that first. This is a Unimig Viper 180. This is a AC and DC welder, so it can do aluminium and mild steel and stainless steel. I'm going to use this welder in the future to do the intercooler piping as well. That's why we're going for the AC/DC option. I'm doing a couple of practice runs here, and even though I'm doing this first time in my life, they worked out really well actually. It's not that hard. You just have to get used to it. I tried a few different settings, and these welds doesn't look too bad considering this is the first time I have ever done a TIG welding in my life. TIG welding is a lot harder than a MIG welding. You need a lot of practice. That's what I'm doing here, but the fundamentals are the same. So you weld in a small section because you don't want to overheat the panel. It will change its shape. So be very careful and do this over and over again. So after the welding is fully done, I'm using a sanding disc to sand the welds and make sure there's no rough surface or holes or anything like that before we can apply the sealer on the top. Now both sides are fully done and they're looking pretty good. I'm really happy with the results. They are fully sanded inside outside, ready for the next step. So before we do the next step, we have to make sure the surface is nice and clean. I have used a wax and grease removal before I do the primer. So we are using a U-pole weld through primer. This has got a copper in it. It helps the penetration when we weld the body panel on the top. So you have to make sure you shake it well before you use it. So here we are using a seam sealer. It's a Worth. You can use any other brand you like as long as it's a good quality. And before you apply the seam sealer, make sure the primer is fully cured. and I'm using my finger to spread this because nobody gonna see this anyways. So make sure you use a nice and thick layer and spread it evenly. Since we are using a MIG welder to weld these bedded quarter panels on the body, we have to make sure that we drill 6mm holes where the original spot welds were. Because we don't have a spot welder, that's why I'm gonna use a MIG welder that's gonna be as strong as the spot welder. You can use either option, whichever easier for you. Now the panel is fully drilled and primed. It's ready to be welded on. So before we weld the panel on, we're using a seam sealer again on all the joints. Now both the quarter panels are on and fully secured, but before we can fully weld them, we have to make sure they line up properly one last time. Now both the quarter panels are fully welded and sanded, so the rear end is fully done now. And that's it for this episode. The next episode is gonna be really exciting because I'm gonna reveal the engine. So stay tuned and we will see you in the next episode.